I went to a singles event last night and I have to say it was the worst singles event I've ever been to. I had a horrible time and here is why. So first of all, a little bit of backstory. I have been to so many singles events in the past. I go to regular events by myself all the time. I'm fine with that. I'm happy with it. I actually enjoy it, okay? And last night I thought was going to be no different. I thought I was going to go there, enjoy myself, and even if I don't meet somebody, I'm still going to have a nice evening. First of all, everything is literally going wrong, right? And my nail is like chipping. I'm not happy with my makeup. My hair comes out crossier than right now, okay? It was like so bad and I was not happy with my look. But basically it was a speed dating event but with food, and every course the men would kind of change tables and the women would stay seated. So every single table I was on, I was seated with people with like just terrible energy, men who were just really not my cup of tea, who just I would never date in 1,000 years. And I actually came across a few people that, you know, like when you sit next to someone and they kind of suck your energy. I had this several times. So many people were so negative and I was just completely over it. I was just like, you know what, I just don't want to be here right now. I stayed and I was not happy I stayed. I almost got into an argument with one of the men and I thought, you know what, these kinds of people are not ready for a woman like me. They don't understand what's really going on. I want more. Okay, so I was not happy with the selection. Not one of those men in there was my cup of tea and I was just over the whole thing, to be honest. The energy was off. I didn't like, yeah, it was just all wrong. And it made me realize that I'm not going to another singles event. I'm not doing it. I don't need to. I can meet people other ways as well. I can go to regular events. I can go out on just walking. I can meet people. I can do whatever, online dating. So I don't need that. Okay, so I've basically got to a stage, I feel like I'm above singles events and the people who are going are really not in the league that I want them to be in. So that's my 2 cents. How are you guys feeling about singles events? Are you going to them still? Are you over them? Are they not on your level? Let me know in the comments.
Seriously, I just came back home from a Melbourne singles dating event for over 30s. And man, I've got a bone to pick with some people that go to these events. Seriously. Now, firstly, I just want to make it clear, I absolutely admire the hosts and the people that run these events. I think they're great. I think it's a great, option than having single men and women rely off dating apps for starters, because it's a great place to push people out of their comfort zone. That's for the most part. And I love these events. I actually take a lot of clients to these events. I think they're great. What happened tonight? Oh my gosh, seriously. People like this should just stay at home, okay? I brought a male client of mine. He's been single for a while. He's socially anxious and he's shy. Like he just doesn't know how to start conversations with women. So I brought him to this event thinking that it would be great, and it was at a great establishment. And we see 2 women that aren't occupied and we go up and I go, cheers guys. I'm guessing you guys know each other. And one woman was, great personality, down to earth. But the other one, oh my freaking gosh, man. The biggest 2-cent attitude I've ever seen. We were just having general chit chat for about a minute and a half. And then I just asked her, I said, hey, how are you finding your first event at this singles event? And she goes, are you serious? Do you not hear what I said? I said, sorry, what? And she goes, you clearly don't listen to people. I told you how many times I've been to these events. And I said, oh, sorry, look, it's been a long day. And she goes, no, you're just clearly not a very observational type of person. And my client looked at me and he's like, bro, what fucking hole did this girl crawl out of? And I looked at him, I'm like, it's okay, just leave it. So I laughed it off. And I said, that's okay. Look, it's been a long day. I guess that's a strike, 1 strike against my name. And she goes, no, you've just got a big strike against you as a person. I was like, wow. Like, you just want to keep pouring salt on that wound. My client was just like, bro, this is why I choose not to go out and try and meet women anymore, especially here in Melbourne. And so, I changed the topic. And I'm like, so what have you noticed tonight? How are you finding things? And she just turned it back to me and goes, I don't know. What are you noticing? And I was like, man, this girl has attitude. I said, all right, well, I think I've noticed a lot of guys, they come here by themselves and they're usually socially anxious. I can tell because they're a bit shy. They're not really initiating conversations. And she goes, well, why don't you go talk to them than be so judgmental? And I looked at her and man, I was so tempted to just say, what the fuck is your problem? Like, it's clearly very clear why you're single. I wanted to fucking say that, but I just looked at my client and I wanted to be a good example and I just laughed it off and I said, you know what? And then we just turned around and I said, yeah. He goes, bro, what the fuck was that? And I said, yeah, just ignore it. It's 1 out of every 10 that you'll get a bad egg like that. Just 1 out of 10. It's a law of average. So my message to people when they come to these events, whether you have a shitty day or whether your life is just fucking shitty right now, don't come to these events trying to pull people down. You got to understand, both men and women are coming to these events because they're socially anxious. A lot of the times they come by themselves and they're out there to meet people. And if someone's coming in with the attitude to just try and fucking unleash thunder and unleash shit because they've had a shitty day, man, just stay home. Don't even come out at all. That's my fucking 2 cents for this.
It didn't go well. It actually was kind of catastrophic for me. I will tell you why. I learned that I am just not competitive enough to go to these singles mixers. I'm just not. So like I said, this was my first time going by myself. Normally I have my friend there as like a wing woman and a buffer, and that really helps me. But I am generally so anxious. Like it's just how I am. Like I can control it, but I'm just a very nervous person. So they had like these tables set up where people can like play card games, and I was at the table playing this game, and this guy comes and I thought he was so cute. For context, it's very rare that I see someone in person that's like, oh my god, like you're really cute. He was even standing next to me while we were playing the card game. We had light conversation, intro, my name is blah 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 blah. But then 2 other girls showed up that were like really bubbly and outgoing, and they started talking, and then it just progressed from there. And it got so bad, when I say bad I mean good for them, that at some point I was just like, okay, I lost that one. And I did talk to some other guys there, and it was cool, like very cool, friendly conversation, but it didn't really go much further than that. It was always like a one-off, hi, my name is blah blah blah. And I understand that like flirting and like getting to know new people is a skill, and I'm gonna have to just keep trying it. But I also don't like the feeling of like competing. It felt really competitive to me, because when you're in a social setting like a singles mixer where people are there for like common reasons, it becomes really apparent what like the stock is, like the food chain, you know what I mean? Like they're always going to be the hot items, the people that everybody wants to talk to. And if you fall outside of that list, you really have to know how to be a good conversationalist. And when I'm by myself, I'm not. And it's just an L that I had to take. But y'all, I left feeling so defeated, because I was like, oh my god, I had so much steam. I was so excited to just go out there and push myself, and I did not. I felt like I let myself down. Like I didn't feel good at the end of it. I felt like I was a loser.
Everyone has an opinion. Here's mine. By now, I am certain you've heard about the viral video where a woman talks about an epic fail at a Dallas singles event. Her complaint was that no men were there per usual. My opinion on the situation is this. Ladies, didn't you guys ask us to stop harassing you? Didn't you ask us to not talk to you, to not bother you? Remember, masculinity is toxic. Remember, the future is feminine, or female, excuse me, right? Girl power and girl math and girl bossing and all of the other shit that you guys talked about, right? Why in the world are you throwing singles mixers? Why in the world are you throwing singles mixers where you hoping that men will show up? I don't understand that. I'm not, the logic isn't computing. And then for those of you say, well, us telling you guys to leave us alone is just a cheap cop-out for you guys actually leaving us alone. And I'm like, you damned if you do, damned if you don't. Most men understand the truth. And the truth is that women have been exposed. We know the game now. Most of us are aware of how women truly operate. There are only a very limited amount of women who are actually selfless, who are actually quality, who are actually wifey material. This is why the Bible tells you in Proverbs 31 that to find a wife is a good thing, suggesting that she was already a wife when you found her. The problem is most of these women, especially the women showing up at singles events, are not wifey material. Now, they may claim to be wifey material. Oh, I cook, I clean, I got my own place, I got my own car. But sis, at the big age that you are at right now, how did you make it this far in life without somebody wifing you up? If you were really as quality as you say that you are, if you're really as the package that you're offering, if you're really that, then why are you still by yourself? Why are you even showing up at singles mixers? Don't you understand that's low-hanging fruit? Quality men don't show up to singles mixers. One, because think about as a man how low on the totem pole you'd have to be and how desperate you'd have to be to show up at a singles event. Or the only other reason why a man with half of a backbone and some self-dignity and respect would show up to a singles mixer is so that he can prey on the desperation of all of the desperate women that are there in attendance. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you're at a singles mixer, it reeks of desperation. It is what it is. Because people who can get people, and when I mean people who can get people, I mean men or women who can garner the attention of the opposite sex, have no need to show up at singles mixers or singles events. We actually just know how to be dope in real life, how to be a vibe in real life. And unfortunately, most women just aren't great people. They're not great people to hang around. They're not great people to talk to. They're not great people to have in your circle. In fact, most of them present themselves as liabilities, headaches, and bills. And fellas, if you know like I know, why the fuck would you intentionally set yourself up for that? And that's not even coupling the children the women that have children. And then you want to go and sign yourself up for a headache and a bill plus a kid that you didn't make? Nothing about that makes sense. Nothing. Now, this isn't to be disrespectful to the women out there. Sis, you go do you. I wish y'all all well. I hope you are all successful. I hope you get that bag. I hope you got all the money in the world. I hope that money keeps you warm at night. But sis, you created this shit. Now, you made the bed, lay in it. That's just my opinion, though. Love to know yours. Drop a like, comment, share this video. Is the singles events thing a thing of the past, or should men come out the house and try to give women a chance despite everything that has been done? Smash that follow button.
I would love if we could be honest and rebrand singles events as The Truth, which is a perfect place to meet your brand new platonic best friend. Men don't go to these. Men do not go to singles events. Stop paying money to go to singles events. Men don't go. Stop it.
All that work and what did it get me?
Okay, so I recently went to a singles event and it was 90% women. And I was wondering, like, where's all the dudes? I don't know, but they're not there. And that's cool. Not like I care.